What's good, internet? Faded Gamer here, and today I have a review for you for the video game Kingdom Hearts 3. It came out about a month ago, and I gotta say, there's some things I did like about the game, and there are some things I found disappointing about the game. I'm gonna start off with the bad, then the good, and then I'll do some speculations on where I think the game's going to go after this, because I do believe that there is going to be some stuff after this game. There's going to be a Kingdom Hearts 4, because if anybody who's seen like the ending that comes after the credits, if you just beat the game regularly, they hint at a Kingdom Hearts 4, and there's also a secret scene, a secret ending if you get all the lucky emblems. But if you're like me, probably watched it on YouTube, it also kind of further hints to a possibility of another game, which is super strong, by the way. I believe there's going to be another game. With that being said, I want to start off with my history with this franchise. Like, I've been a fan of Kingdom Hearts really since the first game. I played the first one. I didn't beat the first one. I got towards the end of it, then I kind of stopped playing it because I think there was another game that came out that I was actually a little bit more excited about. Can't remember the name of that one, but I know I stopped playing Kingdom Hearts for it. I also played the second game. I didn't beat that one. I didn't get close to beating it. Now I did see a friend beat it, and I was able to watch the ending because of my friend beating the game. I then played Birth by Sleep, which I did beat, and then I also watched videos on Dream Drop Distance and that 326 over 2 days, or I forgot the name. I think that's the right name. But I've seen basically the videos on Dream Drop Distance and pretty much all the other games like Recoded as well. And I've watched a whole bunch of videos before playing Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's been since a long time for me. Because I haven't played any Kingdom Hearts games in a while. Like the last one was the Birth by Sleep when I beat it. And then all of the other things I kind of slowly watched as I got more excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out, because when they announced that they were making this game like 3-4 years ago, that's when I started to slowly get back into the whole storyline. I would watch a couple of videos here and there, and I began to watch more videos as time went by. So what I liked too, one of the things I did like about this Kingdom Hearts 3 is they do have like a little like a memory archive thing where you can kind of brush up on your lore, because I do believe that the developers understand that there is a very long and slightly convoluted lore to this story. Like it can go on for quite some times, and there's like more than one character with the same name and kind of the same person if you think about it technically or whatever. But aside from that, I want to get into what I found disappointing or what I disliked about the games. For starters, I would have to say it would be the story. And to be completely honest with you, the story was never a big part. Never a big part of the reason why I liked Kingdom Hearts. I found it to be, when I was younger and played the first couple of games, to be lackluster and really not memorable for me, except for certain parts, I would say. And it's the same. It's true for this game as well. I find it's like when it comes to him going around in Disney Worlds, for the first parts of the game, it's essentially just him digging around in Disney Worlds, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's the whole reason why this game came to be, was because Disney and Square Enix got together and said, hey, let's make a video game with some of our characters and some of yours. So I get it, but for this one, I feel like they kind of just went through the motions a lot. Like, for the worlds, to be more specific on the story, some of the worlds, they actually do stuff for them. Like, they'll continue the story of those worlds if it's like a movie with there's only one movie been in the franchise, like Big Hero 6. There's been only one movie so far. So what they did is they actually made, when Sora visits that Big Hero 6 world, there's actually more of a story. But in other ones, it's kind of just Sora in the movie, added in the movie, like say Tangled and Frozen. He's kind of just there while the movie takes place. Pretty much, it's basically just a remake of the movie with Sora in it. So, which, I mean, it's fine, because I'm not gonna say I dislike Tangled or Frozen. I like those movies, but I mean, it's a typical Disney movie. And that's what I found kind of disappointing, because they kind of just rely on the story of the Disney Channel world, of the Disney Channel movies, and kind of just put Sora in there. And I would have liked to see them do more with that. Like, even if they were just to continue just to do the movie in the game, they could have added a little bit more to it, because essentially what it is but even with the worlds that do different stories, essentially what Sora does, and he's kind of been doing this through the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise, is go to Disney worlds, or just go to a world, meet the Disney characters there. Disney characters are like, oh no, the Heartless are being a-holes. Well, hey Sora, I have a Keyblade, I can help you out with that, and then become friends. And that's kind of the formula they have for the Disney channel, the worlds. Sora goes in, beats up the Heartless, makes friends with the characters in the world, and rinse and repeat. Which is kind of, I mean, that's kind of the cycle it is for the worlds, and that's one of the main reasons why I found the story overall to be a little less interesting for me. But it's not a super takeaway, because the story, even the disappointing stories, like the worlds that just kind of rip off the movies, I still enjoy it, I still have fun, and honestly I do like seeing Sora interact with the Disney characters. Speaking of which, one of the other things I found disappointing was the fact that they don't have any Final Fantasy characters. That's one of the things that's actually one of the big things I found to be disappointing. But I do believe I'm gonna tie that into my speculation toward the end of this video. But the reason why they're doing that is I feel like they're going to do something with it in the next game. But I'll leave that more for speculation towards the end of this video. One of the other things I found disappointing about this game was, I'm not sure if they did this in the second Kingdom Hearts, but in the first one, when you got towards the end of the first game, Kingdom Hearts, you could look at all of the worlds and they'd show you the difficulties. You can still do that now, but when you would look at the worlds, their difficulties would increase to a high level. And I found that interesting, and when I would go there, come to find out the reason why the difficulty was raised because there was these hard bosses. I wouldn't want to say they're secret bosses, because you could just, once you revisit them, like you go to a certain area, then the boss fight triggers, which was pretty cool. Like, and I don't think I actually beat any of the harder bosses, which was fun. And I just found it disappointing that they didn't add it into this game. Like, there's no like secondary hard bosses in the worlds if you revisited them. I mean, the only reason to revisit these worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 is to collect items for the Ultimate Keyblade, which has been a staple for all of the Kingdom Hearts games, by the way. You have to do a lot of grinding to get those Keyblades, and I'm fine with that. And that's actually one of the things I found nostalgic about Kingdom Hearts 3, is they kept that part at least. Or I would have liked to see them add that part as well into it, where you could come back and you see these different bosses that out of nowhere sprung up and they were really hard, and which would have added more to the playability and maybe even the replayability of this game. Alright, on to what I like about this game. For starters, the main thing I like about Kingdom Hearts 3 is the same thing I liked about all of the other Kingdom Hearts games that I played, and that's the combat. It's not the most complex combat in video game history, not by a long shot, but there's enough there for it to be really fun. Like, I always have fun just playing as Sora. It's a simple, like, there's one button attack, but as you play on different difficulties, you realize it's more about the timing, really. And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a Dark Souls kind of feel to it, where you have to have the good timing and make sure you're not just you can't not try when you're playing, especially if on the harder difficulties. Kingdom Hearts 3 I know is notoriously easy, and I think they might be working on like making it harder. I do believe they were trying to do like a harder mode. Like, I believe that was going to be one of the updates that would be coming out. But with that being said, like, I do enjoy the gameplay aspects of it. Like, the fighting for me has always been the funnest part, and that's the reason why I kind of wanted to have more bosses, like have a secondary harder boss in the worlds if you revisited them, so you could put more of that to the test. Because Kingdom Hearts is an RPG game, basically. I mean, like, you fight monsters, you level up, and eventually you get so strong that even the end boss isn't that hard. So that's why they put secret bosses in this game. And there are secret bosses. There's like a Inferno Heartless secret boss. Like, I haven't actually fought yet, but I'm gonna take my time getting to him because I want to level up and see how strong I can make Sora. One of the other reasons why I like the combat is the Keyblade Key Forms. They're pretty cool. Some of them, granted, I've used only a couple of them, and I think I've talked about this in this video already, but I do enjoy the Keyblade Key Forms because some of them, they're really different from each other. Some of them make me feel like I'm in Dragon Ball Z, and some of them make me feel like I'm one of the big Hero 6, really, honestly, which is cool. And actually one of the things I enjoyed about the gameplay, and one of the things I like about the game in general. And aside from that, now moving away from the combat, another thing that I liked about this game was some of the worlds. Now I did say that some of these worlds, some of the Disney worlds, I guess you could when you visit, I guess basically just a movie with Sora added into it, which is alright, I guess, but I mean, I really wish they would do something more with that. But there are some worlds where they actually attempted to make a story, like for the Big Hero 6 world, the Toy Story world, and I believe the Monsters Inc. world, or some of them that they actually did continue the story afterwards, or in Toy Story's case, they just kind of made it like a parallel story, which is trippy because Andy's still the owner of Woody and Buzz. So this doesn't take place after Toy Story 3, but for the Monsters Inc. world, Sully and his friend, they're actually Sully and Mike Wazowski are actually like head of the company that collect laughters from children instead of Scream. And for the Big Hero 6, you actually see them doing the hero thing afterwards, and he actually talks about how he lost the first Baymax, and you can actually play with the second Baymax, and at the end of that world you actually get both Baymaxes back, which is pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that. That was one of the things I really liked about the Big Hero 6 world, is you fight the first Baymax, but he's turned evil, and he has like a cool evil armor looking thing going on, which is nice. I actually like that, and I only wish they did that with all of the worlds and attempted to make stories for them for their own, even if it was just adding more to the movie. If it was just a movie and more, I would be fine with that. But aside from that, those are some of the things I liked. And the last thing I would say I like about this game is, even though it's really short, is that all of the characters finally meeting up with each other and conversing with each other. Sora finally being able to wake Ventus up and helping Aqua to save Ventus, matter of fact, and then helping to save Terra and all of the other ones like Roxas and Xion, seeing how they communicate with each other. I do wish that there was a little bit more lines of dialogue, especially with, like, say, Roxas and Sora, and I'd like to actually see some dialogue with Roxas and Ventus and Xion and basically all of the other characters we've grown to care about over the years, especially the ones that barely had screen time in the series in general, like Xion or possibly Roxas. And that's one of the things I do like, and that's actually what I want to do now, is segue into what I want to see in the next game / my speculation for the future. And one of the things I speculate for the future is, and what I'd like to see honestly, is the next game not only have Sora in it, but actually be able to play these other groups, because they're like, these guys have, there's like a big group of Keyblade wielders now, and they're all like really powerful. Like, say, Aqua, Ventus, and Terra, they can go off and do their own thing, while Xion, Roxas, and Axel can actually go off and do their own thing as well, because they can be like their own trio, like the old trios trying to do something, like how Sora, Donald, and Goofy has been like the main trio you've been playing with through the numbered Kingdom Hearts games. It's always been Sora, Donald, and Goofy. Maybe in the next couple of games, or the sad games or whatever, you could see Ventus, Terra, and Aqua again doing their own story in the game, or like Roxas, Axel, and Xion do their own story. That's something I would like to see. And as for the speculation for what's to come next, if you've seen the secret ending to Kingdom Hearts after you get the Lucky Emblems, Sora actually ends up in a Final Fantasy world, but it's not actually, I would say it's a Final Fantasy world, more so that the graphics look more like a CGI cutscene from Final Fantasy. And the fact is, it's actually a Square Enix world that I've come to find out through YouTube video research is actually the world ends with you. I've never played that game, but I've seen that they actually had that game in Dream Drop Distance. I would like to see them. I'm thinking that's what might happen. Like in the next game, since there was no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3, they're probably going to be in the fourth one, where Sora and Riku, they all come together and they actually do things in Final Fantasy worlds with Final Fantasy characters, and that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. I'd love to see Sora team up with Cloud or Leon or Noctis to fight like Arden Azuni or Sephiroth or some other Final Fantasy villain, because I think that's where they're headed towards due to the secret ending. You see the Master of Master, who's probably going to be the next big bad guy. He's going to be the guy doing these things, and he might be going in Final Fantasy worlds. And I remember something in the first Kingdom Hearts saying that like most of the Final Fantasy worlds had fell into darkness already. That's why you had random Final Fantasy characters in Twilight Town, because they came from their world that fell in darkness already. So maybe because of what happened in Kingdom Hearts 3, with Xehanort being gone, maybe something that's changed and some of these worlds have come back. I would love to see that. I would love to see how, instead, because since Sora left Donald and Goofy behind and did this by himself, he may have two new teammates. And I'm hoping that's either Final Fantasy characters or the characters from The World Ends With You, or maybe even team up with that Yuzora character. Guy who kind of looks, he's like a Noctis lookalike. That would be interesting, just to see what they do. That's what makes me super excited for what's to come next. I would say they're definitely going to do something, but that's just my speculation that Final Fantasy characters are going to be in the next Kingdom Hearts game, and I'm going to say that they are going to probably be the bigger focus in that. There may still be some Disney characters, but I have a feeling that's going to be less of a thing. They're going to be less prevalent in the next game because there was no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. But that's just my speculation on that. And in conclusion, I like to finish off by saying Kingdom Hearts 3 was very entertaining. It was a disappointment. I would say it's an entertaining disappointment. I do enjoy playing the game. I say it's entertaining because it's fun. I had fun playing this game. And looking back on it, I do not regret spending $60 on this game. Even though I did find some aspects of this game disappointing, I don't regret buying it because I'm still a fan. And playing through this game, like the combat, and sometimes seeing the interactions with the certain characters, made me get that nostalgic feeling, and brought me back to those times when I was playing previous Kingdom Hearts titles when I was a child or with friends. Like, this really brought those memories back for me, and that's, I think, for me, one of the reasons why I actually really enjoyed this game a little bit more than I would have if I didn't play the other games. So I can see if people who haven't played the other Kingdom Hearts play this game and find it a little, not like lackluster or just alright, which is fine. I mean, I would probably have that opinion if I weren't so attached to the franchise and I have all these nostalgic memories with it.
Are you okay?
But with that being said, if I had to rate Kingdom Hearts 3, I would give it
Kingdom Hearts is closing on the other side.
a 7.5. Just a 7. A 7 out of 10. It would be a 6 if I weren't so nostalgic when I didn't have so much nostalgia for this franchise. It would definitely be a 6, but because I do know a lot of these characters and I've seen these characters interact since I was young to now, that actually that adds weight to it, that adds value for me for this game. Now, whether you guys want to buy it or not, I would say it's a fun game to play, but if you're not super interested, you can wait for it to drop in price a little, or you could buy it used, or even borrow it from a friend. But it's not something that's like an urgency that you need to play this game. But if you do have a kind of an interest in it, then it's worth playing. And with that being said, I'm the Faded Gamer. I will let you guys go, and I'm here to say I'm going to be doing another video this week. I know it's been like about a month or almost 2 months now that I haven't been uploading. I've been kind of busy with school. I'm trying to shift some things around. I'm not school. I mean, kind of busy with work, and I wanna get to school because I'm trying to do some stuff. I'm trying to get to the next phase of my life in a sense. But with that being said, I'm definitely gonna make more videos coming this month. I hope you all have a nice day, and I will see you in the next episode.